Walking around, just to specify, not my garden again. What a fantastic bank holiday weekend we've just had. The weather's just been amazing if you like that kind of thing. If you don't, unfortunately, it's been horrific. But there we go, 32 degrees today. You'll be seeing this on Wednesday evening, and I think by then the temperatures are supposed to have dropped again. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, look at the scenery that we've got that we're just walking through. You can just about see the sun popping out from between the trees. So as I said, video number 2 of this new Mind the Gap series. We talked last time about the launch of Calderdale Current and how that went. That was amazing. We've now had a nice bank holiday weekend to let things settle in. We've been to a couple of events over this weekend, and the really lovely thing is the response to Calderdale Current. People have recognised us and thought, I'm going to go say a hello, and that's really nice. So yeah, the first signs are really encouraging. That's really good. We've got a couple of videos planned on the Analysing channel this week that tries to answer the big question, which is, why are my energy bills so bloody expensive? There's one of those going out on Tuesday, another one on Thursday, where we try to answer that. This gets a little bit technical. We start talking about constraint payments, but I think the important thing is to try and keep this as simple as we possibly can, and I think we've managed to do that. So let us know when you've watched those videos. As they go live, I'll put links in the comments down below. What we try to do is explain why, despite us all being told green energy is really cheap, why our bills are still really expensive. I think we've done that. We've talked a little bit about taxes, because we all like talking about taxes, don't we? You can't get enough of those, apparently. We've talked about how you can drive down the number of kilowatt hours that you use in an attempt to mitigate the cost of energy. But sadly now, I'm going to turn around and go back the other way. Sadly now, the vast majority of your bill isn't actually the kilowatt hours that you've used. It's all the stuff that you can't negotiate your way out of. So yes, get yourself the best rate that you possibly can. The real focus has got to be on using less. Can't do a great deal about the taxes anymore. Anyway, we've explained those. We've explained how it costs just so much per unit that ultimately drives up our cost, despite all this green energy stuff being out there. So maybe you'll find those interesting, and maybe you won't. So as I say, we've got one of those videos going out on Tuesday, another one on Thursday, and then the last in that series of 3 goes out next Tuesday. I've got another one of these rambling man walking through somebody else's field videos planned for Sunday night, and I think we're going to take our first steps into maybe getting a little bit political. So those of you that are into that kind of thing, you'll have seen now that there are a number of local authorities that are controlled by Reform. And what Reform have done is taken the planet, the environmental stuff, the climate stuff out of their policies and kind of rebadged them. I'm going to stop here with that view behind me. They've kind of rebadged those things as sustainability. And is that good or bad? I'm still trying to work that out. I'm actually chairing a meeting for Calderdale Council tomorrow morning, one of their climate action panel meetings, which is a bit of a last minute request. I'm more than happy to step in, but it's going to be really interesting to see the few number of Reform councils that we had that pulled the climate stuff from their policy frameworks. What's going to happen with all the Reform-led councils now following those local elections that just happened a couple of weeks ago. That's going to be really interesting to see. I think for me, it almost feels like a bit of a rebadge. I'm not entirely sure that it's going to make a great deal of difference. I think certainly from a business point of view, people have moved away from the sustainability stuff and started to focus on cost quite a while ago now. Certainly as a business, we've stepped back from the dreaded net zero because people want the savings first, and the environmental advantages, the carbon reduction, almost comes as a secondary benefit. Sure, there are companies out there with big ESG aspirations that are looking to invest in that kind of stuff regardless, who have made net zero commitments publicly and aren't about to rescind them. But for most SMEs, it's just about cost. As I said in the video last week, it's really tough out there at the minute, and anything that you can do to reduce operating cost is just a necessity these days. It's not something you can leave alone. So yeah, we've got a meeting to chair tomorrow morning. The video on Sunday, I think I've just convinced myself, is going to be about reform governments and their attitude to net zero and what that's likely to mean for Calderdale, given that's where this wonderful field that I'm walking around in, which, just to clarify, isn't my garden. So I think that's just about it. Nothing else to cover. Thanks a lot for watching.